the Super Nintendo Classic is like you cannot argue with the library of games that is included on that thing.
I mean, remind people. We talked about this before in the podcast. Give me like the greatest hits. What were you most excited to see when you're going through that library?
Man, okay, so for me, it's going to change from person to person, right? Because they just have 21 fantastic games on there.
Reiner might argue 20 in a bit here.
Well, it has 21
Spoiler.
games on it.
Uh-huh.
And one of the things I thought was funny is like I was going to make a list in the like review I wrote up of like, oh, here are the must-play games. And I came up with like I scrapped the idea because it's like it's most of them. It's like 15 of them more or less are things that I would say that are just like A or A minus tier Super Nintendo.
Okay, well let's go the other route. What's at the bottom of the stack that you wouldn't include in that?
Yes, Reiner, what would you like to put on there?
Star Fox 2.
All right. And what else is down there?
So for me personally, and again, it's going to change from person to person, but like Super Castlevania is on there. Which is,
you put that bottom of the stack?
For me,
you see that whip?
I'm not saying it's a bad game either. For me, I never really connected with that one. Same with the Super Ghouls and Ghosts. I think is for me not a great series. There's the two Kirby games, the golf one.
Kim's mouth hit the table.
And so the golf one and the weird mini game collection one.
Okay.
Fine,
but still, none of
Final
those are
Fantasy 3.
But those aren't bad games.
Yeah. I mean, to go back to like the better side of it. I mean, you've got Mega Man X, you have Final Fantasy 3, Super Metroid, Super Mario World, like
Link to the Past.
Link to the Past, absolutely, like just great.
Yoshi's Island,
Secret of Mana, Earthbound,
Chrono Trigger,
Super Mario RPG.
Not Chrono Trigger.
Where the hell is it?
Yeah, people are upset about that.
If I had to pick one game that it's like, wow, it's really an oversight that that's not on there, I think it's probably Chrono Trigger. But at the same time, I mean, like, it's also hard to argue with the RPGs that are on there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
great choices.
Yeah.
Okay, so overall hardware is basically the same as NES. So that your conclusion after around with it for a while?
Yeah, and that's actually what's disappointing about it. And it's hard for me to like. One of the things I say in my review is like criticizing this thing feels like you're standing in front of a speeding train and like waving your arms asking it to stop. Like the success of this system just seems inevitable, right? I mean, like people are just, they want it. They are doing everything they can to get it, but it's not perfect. And the issue with that, I think, is that it has the same sort of practical problems that the NES Classic had for me. They really did not do much to fix the fact that like, in order to really take advantage of the sort of extra features that it offers, like being able to use save states, or there's a new rewind feature.
Yeah.
That you can like hop into a save state and like rewind and try, like, let's say you're trying to beat like a hard boss or do a hard jump.
Only on loading.
Yeah. So you have to return to the menu screen and then access your save state, rewind, and then load that up again. Okay. So all that's to say, those are great features, but you need to be close to the reset button to do that.
Because flipping the reset button up is what takes you to the main menu. You cannot do it from the controller.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. And the Nintendo, the NES Classic had that problem, and it was just baffling. And like, I know that there are people out there who like came up with little sort of like fixes for the software that you could install.
Oh,
fixes. No. Things like, hey, if you hold down and select, you can basically like install something on there. It's like, hey, if you hold down and select, it'll take you to the screen. Or there are workarounds too. Like, hey, if you have the like Wii Classic controller, that has a home button. So if you have like a Nintendo, a controller with that like Nintendo plug, you can put it in the Super Nintendo and the home button will take you to the home screen.
All right, that's not too bad.
The controllers that it comes with do not have that.
Gotcha.
And similarly, like you're also, because the controller is like, the cord is longer than the NES Classic was, which was a big complaint, but it's still too short. It still keeps you too closely tethered to the system.
Key question though, shorter than the original Super Nintendo cord?
Yes.
Wow. Okay.
Yep.
By a couple feet?
I mean, I don't remember the exact measurements off the top of my head. I think it's maybe 1.5 feet.
Okay.
Or so shorter still. Yeah.
Okay. So same complaints, but that library you just can't argue with.
Yeah, and it makes it sound like I'm really down on it. And like I do think that the fact that all of these things were problems last year, and the fact that they are still problems, is super disappointing and confusing to me.
Yeah.
But under a lot of circumstances, they don't matter. I mean, like, let's say that your gaming setup is just like at your computer desk or something. Like, hey, if everything's close by, if you don't mind things being within arm's reach, that's great.
Yeah.
I have a living room with like my TV in front of it, and sitting 4 feet in front of it and sort of looking up was not convenient or comfortable for me.
You felt like a wonderful child.
You know? So, you know, like there's a sort of like there are elements of it that are frustrating, especially given that Nintendo knew about the problems and didn't fix them.
Yeah.
One problem they did fix.
Yes.
Real quick.
Please.
They included a second controller.
That's really cool.
They didn't do last year.
Yeah.
So now for games like Super Mario Kart, you just out of the box, you have 2 controllers, you can sit and play, and that's a good thing.
That's awesome. And it seems like, I mean, who knows? If you're listening to this on Friday, you maybe already know if there were riots in the streets of people trying to pick these up. But it seems like as we're getting closer to launch, the buzz is like, oh, maybe there's a few more than people would expect.
Yeah. I mean,
I'm hearing a lot more.
Yeah.
Certain places.
You check like Target allocations and stuff like that sometimes, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know about this one. It's me just going in there to get a coffee and being like, oh, yeah, they got Switch.
Yeah. Okay. But maybe you could actually get your hands on one. It seems like overall you'd still recommend it just because of that crazy arsenal. And it's what, $80?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's $80. Those games are fantastic. And even though, I mean, like, so this is maybe a dumb analogy, but like let's say that there's some like James Beard award-winning chef who wants to serve you a meal, right?
James Beard?
It's
a pirate?
It's a cooking thing.
Okay.
So let's say that someone wants to serve you an exquisite meal, but you said they say you have to sit and eat it in like a dark alley or something.
What is with you? Like, and you had the weird stuff in the soup.
Yeah, I don't know. It's
super replay. Everything's a food analogy.
It's weird food analogies. All I'm saying is that like the meal itself is still fantastic, even though if some of the elements surrounding you are not.
It's a TV dinner because you have to eat it close to the TV.
Maybe that also works.
Thank you so much for watching this excerpt from the Game Informer Show podcast. You can subscribe to the audio version and listen to new episodes airing every Thursday. We cover big games on the horizon, games that we've just reviewed. We have long-form developer interviews, a lot of fun stuff. So check it out every Thursday.